Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modeling tutorial. And today in this episode I think we'll continue with the rear of the car here. Maybe around this area. I said in the last episode that we'll go around here and try and think about how all of that kind of connects before moving up and around. So let's just have a quick look at what that could entail. So we're going to want to think about moving up the side of the car a little bit more potentially. So thinking about maybe how this transitions here, because we do want to work our way across the spoiler. So maybe it would be worth going across the spoiler first. In doing so, we'll need to add another line. So let's maybe take this bit here, and I'm just going to drop that there, because we can kind of see where that's going to need to go on here. So we could maybe for now draw this along. We've got two options. We could have it drop here, a triangle, or we could bring it down here, but then obviously we're going to have a 5. So let's just drop it just there for now, and let's maybe take this bit. So we're going to take these lines up here, and we'll hit Control E, and we're going to bring this back and do something like that. Okay, so with this I'm going to grab my target weld, we'll drop that up here. We'll have a think about the kind of positioning for these elements here. So let's maybe take this one there. Okay. And we're going to need another line that's running across. So let's actually maybe dial that back. And we want to drop this one like here. So I actually want something like that and that. Okay, so we're going to need another line across here. So maybe let's go and drop one and run just something like that. And that means now that that's no longer a triangle. So that kind of helps us out a little bit there. So let's target weld this one up here. Okay. Let me just tidy that up. Maybe go a bit more like that. So that's a little bit of a smoother curve. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll grab the edges. Maybe I'm gonna pull these back. Like that. Okay. Let's double check in our main view, because we all want it to be up a little bit more like that. Let's go in our rear view as well. Yeah, so we want to be something a bit more like that. So let's take all of these up. Okay. So start to format that a little bit nicer. Just checking. So what we're going to want to do then with this is, I believe we're going to want to take, I'm going to take these two first. We'll hit Control E. Let's just pull this over here. And the first thing we'll do is target weld over there. And then we can bring these over into position. Like so. Okay, so I think that's looking good. Let's maybe see about that instead. Okay, now I don't know if we'll worry about this bit just yet. Or maybe save that until we're working on the details, because once this is extracted we don't need to worry about extra lines running off. So we'll think about how we'll add that in a little bit. So we've got the spoiler in position just there, which is going to be fine. And what we know now is that the spoiler comes off and runs up this bit. So that's going to allow us to feed straight into this bit here. So I'm going to hit Control E. I'm just going to take it along the one axis, and then let's go into the rear view here and pull that up. So I want to be something like that, and then I'll just drop that down. Okay. We can see that we do need an extra little bit of information in here, so let's go insert an edge loop. I'm going to drop one in maybe about here. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so we'll drop that off. I'm going to delete this line and take the vertices with it. This line here, we're going to take along to about there, because it's going to be the thickness of the spoiler that kind of dictates that next bit. So let's take that, and then this line we'll bring down here, and then we'll draw this one in up here. And what we'll actually do with this is we'll maybe actually bring that there. Let's do something like that. And I'm going to check the rear here. Okay, so it looks like we're quite far off in terms of the blueprints there. I'm not going to see anything in here. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to maybe trust this top view. That's sitting how it should do. This one here, we're going to want to be much further down, something like that. I want this to be more level, ready to integrate maybe into this bit here. Okay, now we need to be a little bit mindful of the geometry that comes down here, because again it's going to need to run across here. So maybe what we could do is we could draw in across here, which will then allow that section to kind of come down there. Let's just target weld that for now, because what we need to remember with this spoiler is this spoiler is not actually going to be part. So maybe let's not target weld that. Let's maybe take this, hit Control E. I'm going to pull this down here, and this is what we'll target weld. So I'll bring that up here, and then this down there. So that's going to go underneath the spoiler and connect inside there. Okay. Let's just check our top view again, and we'll bring that back here. Okay, so that's looking quite nice. Okay, I think we'll want to pull that up though. Something a bit more like that. Let's go and take this. And go underneath, and then maybe just down a little touch. Okay, weld that one back there. So it's a little bit awkward, this one, because we need to kind of imagine that the spoiler here is just a completely separate entity to everything else, by also understanding that it's the same as everything else as well. So it's a little bit awkward, but I think we'll be okay. Okay. What we'll probably want to do is we have that running up here. Let's drop a loop in here. And we'll take all of these. pull those up to match. Maybe take that and just pull that slightly this way. Okay, now what's going to happen here is let's get rid of that. I'm actually just going to, this face here that we added in earlier, I'm actually going to get rid of that too, just for now. I'm going to take everything that's kind of associated with the spoiler here. I'm going to say mesh and edit mesh and extract. Just ignore that's gone green, it's just gone green, it's a material problem for some reason. Let's just bring that back. Okay, so we kind of made the wing there independent. Actually, what we're going to want to do is we'll want to take all of this as well. Before we do, let's just straighten those out because they're looking a bit just here where this all kind of joins. It's not looking the best, so let's take those. That's better. So again, I'm going to grab all of these. Let's take all of these and then these. So everything that's associated with that spoiler, we're going to go mesh, edit mesh and extract. So take those away. Okay, so what we kind of want to do is we kind of want to fill in what's underneath without having to worry too much about that spoiler. So let's grab this one and go straight in. And I'm going to target weld that over here. What we'll also need to think about is going underneath the spoiler. So I'm going to grab this and go something like that. So for now I'll maybe just go flat underneath. And let's drop a loop through here. Like that. So that's kind of underneath the spoiler there, so that's going to run around for us. So that's looking okay. Now without the spoiler again being part of that, that means that all of this, so for example I could take this, I'm going to hit Control E, let's bring this in. I'm going to straighten this out as well, just so it's easier to manage. And then this can kind of be the start of that next section for us, which is going to run all the way along and essentially to this bit here. So let's just bring everything back in and let's just run along to this point. I'm going to take it all the way over to this point here. And what we can do is we can target weld. It will let me, I think we're just a bit too close. I'm going to hold down V and then we can drag and merge those together. And let's go for an insert edge loop. Before we do that, actually, let's put an insert edge loop down back here. We'll drop one here, and same as up front, I'm going to scale that off so it's a little bit cleaner. And then what we really want to do is we want to kind of make sure we're practically intersecting with the existing bit of geometry there. So I'm just going to go a little bit lower. and hopefully we can target weld that up. Do this in there. And then we just want to make sure that as we're going down here, this is maybe flowing nice too. Okay. Let's do another one here. And then do one more. Okay, so that's looking good. Let's maybe grab this one and just drop that down. So what I'll probably do in between episodes is I'll run along here, just make sure that that's looking really nice, because obviously that's going to then come down to this next section for us. So join all those together, just kind of ignoring the overall placement for the spoiler there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just straighten all of these off. So I'm just selecting them, and then with my scale tool I'm just going to straighten them off, and even do these ones as well. Okay, so just run through, so they're all now completely straight, which is going to help us out when it comes to positioning. One thing we need to consider though is that might have affected our join here. So just for now we're going to bring this back. I'm going to hold down V. I'm just going to snap to the new points. Okay, so I'm just going to snap all the way around there. Eventually what we'll do is we will have a little panel gap in there, but that's okay for now. Let's just make sure that we're as far over as we want to be with this. Okay, so do that. Okay, I'm going to grab this. Let's just bring that back over there. Okay, and now what it looks like it could be is that one of these, for example, could flow up there and start to make the kind of underside of that as well, but we'll kind of get there. We'll cross that when we kind of get to it. In between episodes as well, I am going to go along this bit and just make sure we've got a little bit more curvature. So in between episodes, I'm maybe going to pull these up here. This is the extra line that we added in inside there, so we'll probably want to just make sure that that line's going to be helping as much as it can do. So we'll drop that inside there, which is nice. We are going to want to think about now potentially then bridging down this gap. So let's maybe take maybe just bridge this first one. We'll just bridge down between there. Okay, so that is going to start to make up that bit for us. I'm going to just get rid of this face and this face, because what we're probably going to want to do is grab this one. I'm going to hit extrude. Maybe do this on the world. I'm going to probably want to do something like that. Okay. Inside here, let's maybe take an extrusion off of this. And I'm going to target weld this extrusion up to that original spot, and then the same down here, something like that. And then I'm going to run those to that same spot too. And then that should allow me to bridge between these here. This bevel. So we can bridge there. And just do the same there. Because we are wanting that extra little bit that's going to come across there. And then let's maybe grab all of those. I'm going to hit Control E. And let's pull that in. I'm just going to pull that straight in. Like so. And then this is going to kind of be that last little bit. I don't think I've pulled that wide enough, so let's take this one here. Do something like that. Okay. Maybe not quite that far. Okay, so these ones here we want to bring all the way in. Maybe scale them down a little bit. Something like that. Okay, this one will maybe go across the way here a little bit. Okay, we're not too bothered about how circular these are, because when we actually put the rear tail light in, that's going to do the majority of the work for us. So we'll maybe just take all of this here in a little bit. So it looks like we're going to want to take that in, something like that. I'm going to maybe grab those edges and I'm not going to scale them completely straight, but I'm going to go a little bit straighter with them. And then what I'm going to do is just want them to be nice and flowing around inside there. Okay, so something like that. Realistically what's going to happen is, let's just for now put a little placeholder in for that rear tail light. So let's take this over here, let's rotate this around. Something like that. And it's going to sit like that. I'm going to just give it a little bit of a bevel. Okay, so we can start to see how that's kind of sitting inside there. And what we can see is, again, it doesn't really matter if everything all the way around it is completely circular. So what we can do is we can maybe bring these down a little bit so we can't see anything further behind. So it doesn't matter if they're not completely circular, because it's going to be obscured by this. If we do hit 3 on here as well, we can start to see how that will look when that's in there. So it is going to hide a little bit of that information inside of there for us. And then here we have our section in here running quite nice. Now there is a body line in here as well. So let's just maybe bring this one in. So this here is a body line. So let's grab this and put on my edge slide. And I just want this to be a lot cleaner, because this looks like this is where the rear bumper will probably be taken off the car. Just Just make that a little bit cleaner and straighter inside there. Okay, so that's looking okay. Okay, so we're starting to look really good in this rear section too. What I'm going to do is let's quickly have a go at duplicating these across. So I'm going to hit Control D, Control G. We'll swap that across there, and we can start to see that we're getting some nice detail inside that rear bit of the car in there. So let's keep going, maybe let's go down a little bit. So let's maybe think about this. So we have a little vent inside here, so I'm going to go and grab these two edges. I'm going to hit Control E. And by the looks of it on the sides, it doesn't look like we're going to want to doesn't look like we're going to want to move out anymore, but we'll move across here. I need to take my transform off there, so that's okay. So we're moving a little bit closer. We'll pull that down to something like that. Okay, and it doesn't look like we need to on the blueprints here, but I think I'm just going to pull that out a little bit there. And then I'm going to grab all of these. I'm going to hit Control E. I'll pull that down. And I'm going to go in just a little bit. And we'll talk about that over there. Okay. And now let's take the rest. So take all these again. I'm going to hit Control E again. I'll pull those down to match that next body line for us. Let's pull these in as well. And with these ones, we're going to want to go down and start to kind of form that little airflow vent inside there. Okay, let's check our side view. Okay, something like that. And I think we just want to take these two now. And then extrude these down. Take that across there. Let's check our back view. Take those over. I think with this, let's maybe go more like that. Okay, so we've got that going in there quite nicely. Okay, so that's looking good. Maybe what we could do is maybe we could make a little start on the diffuser. I think the shape of that vent inside there is quite nice. Let's maybe just take, I think what we'll do is with the diffusers, we will do the same as what we kind of plan here and what we'll be adjusting for here when it comes to them kind of just passing through rather than being part of the actual geometry. So let's maybe grab then, before we do, let's just make sure we're 100% happy with how it's all kind of flowing. Okay, those just raise a little bit. I'm happy with the curve for the most part. Okay. So let's go, let me just adjust my imagery here. So it looks like we're going to want to take, let's just start with these ones. And I'm going to hit Control E. I'm going to pull out on the blue here. It looks like we want to move a little bit towards this. Maybe that. And then as we get further over here, it moves just that little bit more. So let's maybe select this one. Bring that over here. And then this one. And bring that down here. Now it looks like we'll want a little bit more curve, so let's drop an edge loop in here. And take that, maybe something like that. Okay. Okay, and then we can take that further down should we wish to. What we'll probably want to do now is let's take these again. Actually looks like from the side view that we want to be coming much further out with those ones. Okay, so we'll grab all these. I'm going to hit Control E, and let's just go on the blue, and then I'm just going to pull them this way. Okay. Okay, so that's looking quite nice there. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll probably leave that just here. So we've made a nice little start on that diffuser. So in the next episode we'll finish that diffuser. And then we'll start to think about what we're going to do down here. We've got a lot of geometry that we're going to need to add to spice up this side. And then hopefully by the end of next week's episode, we'll have the majority of the diffuser in place, or all the diffuser in place. And then quite a large portion of this. So by the time we're hitting part 8, we'll maybe have the whole base mesh. Then we'll maybe do an episode of cleanup before we start to think about smoothing things and thinking about the individual panels. So we're looking quite good so far. So if you enjoyed the episode, guys, please hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you in the next one.